church. I woke up this morning, flipped the TV on, and I see a civil war in the country I call home. American flags, Confederate flags, and Nazis with swastikas. Hate groups throwing piss because they're mad at a monument. It represents a time when we advance from mistakes. Now you're making the mistake by taking that out of place. You're stomping and spitting on it like you just whooped someone's ass. You fucking degenerate, get your lazy ass off the grass. This ain't a statue of slavery, do you see any slaves? All I see is some idiots because the social media craze. What, you gonna catch me outside? Yeah, well come catch your fade. Cause I bleed red, white, and blue, y'all bleeding anger and hate.
What's going on, guys? I know I haven't made a video in quite a while. My phone actually ended up breaking, so I haven't been able to make a new video. But I got a few comments on some of my videos of kind of like what you guys want a little bit more of. I am still doing that giveaway at 100 subscribers. So hit that subscribe button, like this video, get some views on it. Basically what today's video is going to be about, as you guys can probably tell in the title of this video, basically kind of what it was like to go through basic training during all of this COVID. Now, I only went through basic training with COVID more towards the end of it. It was a thing before that, but it didn't really get serious till the end. So I'm just kind of going to go to the end and kind of what it was like with COVID. So basically, it didn't really get too bad until I got to AIT. Once I got to AIT is when it started to get bad, so I'll do some info on what it was like through AIT as well. So I made it all the way through basic right until blue phase, which is the end of it, until COVID really hit. And basically all we had to do, because we had already been with each other for a month or a month and a half or whatever. Obviously none of us had the COVID because all we saw was the same people every day. The only people was the drill sergeants. They went in and out of the building. Obviously they went home, did their own thing, lived their life. So there's a possibility that they could have had it, but it was pretty unlikely. Basically we just had to stay away from each other because it still was just kind of starting getting serious at the end of this. So we just had to stay away from each other and all that. And like I said, this was at the end of my basic training. So we had already done everything. We're just kind of sitting around the barracks waiting until the day that we graduated and the day that we got to ship out to AIT or wherever you were going. So the day that we graduated, we actually had to change our graduation so that way it was inside of the barracks, and we had to stay in our own platoons, separated from other platoons, and obviously go one by one on video on a camera. None of our family was allowed to come, so like a bunch of family members and stuff, including mine, they'd already bought plane tickets, hotel rooms for the night or however long they were staying or whatever, because normally you'll get a family day, and your parents can come down, or family, wife, whatever, can come down and see you, watch you graduate, spend a day with you or a half day, whatever it is. And so a lot of people had already bought all their stuff, and then a week before graduation, they actually canceled it and said that family members are no longer allowed to come. So you had to write. They actually let us use our phones to call our family members and let them know, like, hey, cancel the flights, the hotel rooms if you can. Some people still haven't gotten their money back. Like, for instance, my family still hasn't gotten their money back for refunds for, like, the flights and the hotel rooms and all of that. And there was a lot of people in my company that actually didn't ship out to where they were going in AIT because of COVID. So they weren't able to ship out because they couldn't fly in or out or whatever. This is when it started to get pretty serious. So those ones had to stay back. Now I just had to go to a different place on the base because my AIT was on the same base as my basic training was. So all I had to do was go from my company, from basic over to my company for AIT. So I got to actually leave the next day after we graduated. I was on a truck headed over to the company for AIT, and a lot of people, I didn't go. I stayed kind of in contact with them as they were still at the barracks, because they would get their phones for like an hour a day or whatever it was, and they could play around on them. And basically they were only allowed to go to the chow hall by each platoon and had to keep their double arm intervals so they were away from each other. They had to sit every other person at the tables to eat chow. So basically everyone had to stay away from each other, and that's kind of how that went. So when I got into AIT, we didn't have to wear a mask yet. We just kind of had to stay away from each other in the chow hall whenever we went over there, because in AIT, it's not like you go over as like a company or whatever like that. It's like when it's chow time, you walk over there to eat. If you want to eat, I mean, you don't even have to eat if you don't really want to. You can just stay in your barracks, whatever. So you go over to the chow hall for dinner, and you will, get your food. You got to stay away from people, or you will get yelled at, because I actually got yelled at one time because I was too close to someone in the salad bar trying to get some food, and I got yelled at by a drill sergeant while I was in AIT. You sit at the tables, one person here and then another person over here, and then kind of like zigzag type thing. And so everyone, eats their chow, whatever, and then about, I can't even remember now, probably a week or two into AIT, they started requiring us to wear masks. And obviously, I was an 88 Mike, so I'm a truck driver. You're in a truck with someone else, you're side by side, so they required us to wear a mask while we were in the truck driving or whatever, which was not fun, because you had to wear the iPro on your face, and the mask just made them fog up. And when you're driving, that ain't exactly the best thing to do, because you'd have to wear the iPro while you're driving. I think they allowed us to take it off or whatever. We had to wear our masks all the time until we got back to our barracks. Once we were at our barracks, we were in like rooms where, it's you and two other people in this room for AIT barracks. And once you got in there, you didn't have to wear your mask or whatever. Really, around the barracks at all, you didn't really have to wear your mask unless you went downstairs around the drill sergeant CQ table or whatever. Then you had to wear your mask. But other than that, I mean, everything just went as normal. You just had to wear your mask all the time, keep your distance during classes and stuff. You had to stay away. We didn't do our field training exercise in AIT because of COVID. We weren't able to go and do our field training exercise at the end of it. And then same thing with graduation. We actually had a graduation, but it was outside rather than inside where they normally do graduation for AIT. And so it was outside, and we all did our thing on the videos, and it was shared on Facebook Live or whatever it was, so your families could watch. And other than that, it was pretty much the same as it would be. You do less field training exercises in a way, because you guys can't be that close together. Obviously, we still drove the trucks because we had to learn how to drive the trucks, but you guys had to wear masks. You guys had to stay away from each other. That was we did a lot less PT than normal. We didn't have to run as much or I take that back. We had to run quite a bit, but it was only 3 days a week that we had PT, and then like Tuesday and Thursday, I believe it was, we had no PT. So, and the PT is like you got to stay away from each other. You can't use weights. Like a lot of times they would use weights at like the very beginning when we got there. There's pull-up bars in the barracks that they took down, weights up in the barracks that they took down, because they don't want one person touching one thing and another person touching it and having chances of getting corona, which doesn't quite make sense to me, because we were all in the same area for so long before they took everything down, where everyone was already using it at that point. We've all been with each other every single day. So the possibilities of us getting corona were pretty low. So I don't really understand the whole reasoning behind all that, but I get it in a way, because they're taking precautions to make sure that we're all safe and we don't get the corona, because everyone reacts to it differently. So yeah, I mean, it was basically the same thing as any other AIT, just a little less being close to each other, a little less touching the same things as each other. Every time after you drove a truck, you had to wipe it down. Yeah, it was all the same. Basic training, like I said, I went through it all, and it came into effect like right at the end, just as I was about to leave there. So I guess this is more of a video of what COVID was like going through AIT, because in basic training I pretty much had it as any other basic training was before all this COVID stuff. So that's my experience for you guys of what it was like going through AIT and basic training with COVID. I know there's a few comments asking for this type of video. I do have a new phone now, so I will be posting more videos. I'm going to try to post at least one every week. I am doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers of a gift card. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, comment, and share this video, and tell all your friends to watch. Thank you. Bye.
Gatorade rolling in the floorboard. That dirty Braves cap on the dash. Dog tags hanging from the rear view. Old skull can and cowboy boots and a gold army shirt folded in the back. This thing burns gas like crazy, but that's alright.